Greetings, Captains. This is LtTrashPanda Marauder. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Tier 10 French destroyer Kleber. This is pretty much an oversized version of the destroyer that I played in my last video, which is Le Terrible. Kleber is a really fun ship, and from a line that is one of my favorites, just right behind that of the American heavy cruisers. Kleber is a very nimble destroyer. She's got really good guns. I love the combination of the speed and the firepower, because you can kind of strike and dash away when you need to, or press a target inward and really, put the business on them. I love this ship. Torps are great for screening. The nimble maneuvering ability means you can dodge carriers better than most destroyers. Not all of them, but this actually allows you to have a little bit of a dodging interaction against the class that made just dodge the famous meme that it is. But I really love playing this line. Like I said, when I approach a cap like you see here, first thing I do is I throw out some screening torps, because I know I could possibly hit something with them, and then usually we'll, like you see here already, start gunning down a target, and I start putting HE right on that Bismarck. Now, in a couple seconds here, you'll see I actually get torp hits on the enemy Shimakaze. He's concealed, but I get one that's just absolutely hilarious right here at the beginning of the match, and it will end up causing a flood. It should happen in just a couple seconds here. Boom. Done. And that's quite a considerable amount of damage, considering that, you're Shimakaze and you were unspotted, and now you've taken a torpedo. So, hey, it procs this adrenaline rush, but it also kind of makes him a lot more damage, so when he gets spotted initially, it's easier for us to put him down, which you'll see ends up being the case. So I pushed back in here. I cut it out a little bit when I was shooting at the Hindenburg. Now I'm approaching back in on the map. The reason why is because the Kearsarge, the Kremlin, and the Bismarck are pushing us, and that's not really optimal. Our Roma's not in a good spot, our Pommern's not in a good spot, and our Burgoyne right now is kind of pushed backwards there. By the way, I think I did forget to mention, so my buddy TmasterT is playing Burgoyne in this match, and my buddy LtTrashPanda, she's playing Z52 this match. So LtTrashPanda ends up dodging some torps there from Shima, and as I push back in, I get some shots here on Bismarck. I know that I'm probably going to get shot at here, but, gonna throw some screening torps out, gonna do some shooting anyway. You want to dissuade them from pushing any farther inward than they want to. And if they do have to push into that, you want them to take as much damage as possible, because it's possible that we could stop them before they all confidently around the island. And it's what we end up doing. Bismarck gets stopped dead in its tracks. Kearsarge has to pull back around the island instead of pushing in harder, and Kremlin kind of disengages his push as well. Yu Yang now becomes spotted for the first time, as he ended up picking up B-Cap, but Benson is now going to sneak back for that. And now all of the battleships are behind the island there, with Hindenburg kind of running up the 10 line. So we now have advantage on this particular flank. At this point, I'm just going to kind of keep pushing it, putting out gunplay, all the shells I could possibly throw at the enemy. I'm going to keep doing that and pushing even farther forward now, because we now have an advantage. With everyone withdrawing from this flank on the red team, we have the ability to kind of put the screws to them. And Kearsarge there is getting beat up. Bismarck over that island is just, he's at 12k, which this early in the match, that's not lovely. I mean, you're in a battleship, don't really want to be there. Our Roma overextended and now has to withdraw because he is way too damaged there. He also is not in a phenomenal spot. I switched my guns to a little bit on Bismarck to see if I can get another fire, but for the most part, I want to get Kearsarge out of the way. Kearsarge has the aircraft, so I'd like to get rid of the pseudo carrier. But before I do that, the Shima gets spotted, so I'm going to shoot him, finish off the work that I started earlier in the match, and LtTrashPanda ends up cleaning him up, so that's a kill. Get him out of the way. Roma's now within an inch of his life, and we start pounding on the Kearsarge. What's interesting here is that I can actually use AP because the sidewalls of his flight deck area and that hangar are actually easy enough for you to pen with AP. So I can use that to quickly whittle him down and not have to worry about shatters or shells just missing altogether, not doing damage. So I find the AP seems to have a little bit better flight characteristic than the HE. Maybe it's just placebo, but to me it's just kind of how it feels. I end up taking down the Kearsarge there, and I now push out wide here because I want to see if I can maybe spot the Hindenburg and spot the Yu Yang and possibly shove them back even farther so our Palmer don't keep pushing. Our Roma escaped, which is quite impressive, and the enemy Bismarck did not. So with Hindenburg charging up the 9 line now and Kremlin now running butt towards us, I push forward, and our Z-52 is gonna turn around, and T-Master starts moving up in his Burgoon. Like I said, I get a fire on Kremlin, which is nice because Kremlin has a limited damage control party, so anything that makes him or forces him to use that is a good thing. Russian battleships are very allergic to damage over time effects. Hindenburg, as he sees me open watering the Kremlin, doesn't do anything about it. I'm at 10 kilometers from him, which is really, really not great for Hindenburg to be that close to a Kleber, and especially with how he's pushing. And at the end of the day, you can tell this guy just has chosen to throw his boat away because he's pushing and way too hard into us. And my shots I have on him probably aren't even going to matter because we're just hammering the crap out of this guy. Yu Yang pops up, so I switch over to HE. And it's my goal to put him down. He will get spotted and go back dark a couple of times because of the smoke screen, but for the most part, I'm kind of using whatever tools I can to get him damaged as much as possible. I will end up using a reload booster here, and he kind of goes off spotting, goes back on, and then goes off again. I don't see him anymore, but I want to make much use of it as possible, so I switch over to Kremlin with it because I don't want to waste that reload time, and I get 2 salvos off on the Kremlin before that reload booster goes down. Yu Yang now is taking a little more critical damage. Kremlin's got some accurate shots on me, but for the most part I'm still kind of keeping him away. I then decide to push the Yu Yang in a smoke, because if I damage him and kill him, it would be pretty nice to remove that destroyer so that Burgoon and Palmer don't have to worry about deep waters. On top of that, if he's not there, then I can just hijack a Yu Yang smoke, which Klebers love to be in smoke because it makes a ship that's already strong even stronger. And sure enough, I get to shoot at the Kremlin without being spotted for a little bit here, which is nice because he was getting some accurate shots on me. So now I can start to do some uninterrupted damage to him, which I end up pulling off, as you can see here. Damage, destroying a secondary turret, doing about 2k salvo here. So Kremlin isn't happy with me when I get spotted again, and cutting back in here is actually Slava, which is a long-range ship, and he is now actually kind of going to start focusing and targeting me, which I'm about mid-range for him, which is not his ideal target selection. I dodge most of his fire that he puts on me, and then I accelerate forward, and I'm just in time to miss whatever Kremlin had in store for me. So I kind of dodge a lot of bad stuff coming in. Start getting some shots on Slava, but I got to be careful because Kremlin is also really not interested in me continuing to float. As you can see, I take a little more damage here. Not fun. But so far we're up to 134k and enemies badly damaged. We have 2 caps. We're up by about 500 points. So I get a fire on Kremlin. Use my last reload booster on him right here. And Kremlin's not happy. This guy's having probably the worst game he'll have all day. He's been running from a destroyer that's been pecking away at him all match, and on top of that, his team is just absolutely folding like a cheap suit. Really unfortunate for him, to say the least. You know, like, you don't want to see this happen to people. You like even fights more than you like stomps, but these guys are kind of just getting themselves stomped. At this point, I sail pretty far out here, and I'm out of range of most things right now, because I withdrew so I wouldn't be hammered by Kremlin anymore. So now I have to kite back in. Now I start opening up on Kremlin again, now that I've pushed back in, and Kremlin is once again very not happy to see me. But the match is pretty close to over right now, so he's just doing whatever he possibly can. TrashPanda has some torps coming in on him, which is pretty nice. But I don't think any of them actually end up connecting. No, they don't connect. Overall, though, this Kremlin is just not happy, man. He's been harassed, like I said earlier. He's been harassed all match. So this is the last thing he kind of really wants to deal with. TrashPanda goes down, but she's cool with it. She just wants to give us more time to farm, which is fine by me. I'll do more farming. I don't mind. Kremlin goes off spawning here, so I speed boost forward to see if I can get another glimpse on him to get a little more damage here. And just put a little more out. I don't believe I get the kill on this where that Kremlin goes down. I forget what happens here, but I think the game clock, sorry, the point clock, I believe it expires before Kremlin actually dies. I end up getting a Witherer on Kremlin, which is hilarious. And then as I'm playing here, I think it's either Talon or Yu Yang that dies. It's Talon. It's Talon. And that ends the match for us. So, as you can see, it was a pretty decent match. 175k, 361 shell hits, 1 kill, 12 fire started, got the torp hit on that Shima, polished off some missions there, and got a Witherer achievement along with some division achievements as well. I ended up coming in first on the team with 1,897 base XP, and TmasterT came in third with his Burgoyne, and LtTrashPanda came in fifth with her Z52. I got the kill on the Kearsarge and took down 3 of his aircraft. I farmed out the Kremlin for 80k. Yeah, that guy absolutely hated my guts. And 20 to the Bismarck, and 15 to the Slava, and 14 on that Torp strike to the Shimakaze, which I'm pretty proud of here. Overall, 52 shell hits on the AP for 20k, and then 309 on the HE for 80k. I took 1 million potential, or roughly around 1 million potential, which is pretty interesting. I thought I would have taken more that match, but apparently no one was interested in shooting at the Kleber that was spotted most of the time. So, for my captain, I used Charles Henry Henry, which is the brother captain of Jean-Jacques Henry, which is on my Henry the Fourth. So what I've taken is the standard core 4 for destroyers, preventative maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, and concealment expert. My next plans for skills I'm going to take is going to be main battery and AA specialists. I'm going to take adrenaline rush. I'm going to take superintendent, and then I'm going to pick up grease the gears so that I get that improved turret traverse for extra comfort. I get a better adrenaline rush for getting that extra reload boost, and then getting the extra range. Plus, not that it's a big deal or something I'm aiming for, but the extra AA damage is never something that people will shy away from. The reason I'm going with Superintendent rather than maybe picking up or cleaning up with some extra skills here is that I want another reload booster and another speed boost so that I have more time that I can be quick on the match. And with the extra reload booster consumable, it allows me to do just a little bit more damage to the match. And as you saw there, I actually had enough time to use another reload booster. So it would be nice to have an additional one. For modules, I pick main armament mod 1. I use the speed boost, the engine boost modification for more time on that. I take aiming system mod 1. I take propulsion mod 1, so I speed up quicker and accelerate quicker coming out of a turn. I take concealment because I want a little more extra stealth. Kleber is 7-8 with both this concealment on with the module and the captain skill. So do be careful and make sure you're not overextending with the ship, because even with all that concealment added, it can still be spotted from space. And the last skill I pick is main battery mod 3. There are some people who like to take gunfire control system mod 2 along with the aiming, the range skill, so that you can have like a really long range and kind of troll battleships with it. but I prefer just to go with the reload and then take the extra range with the skill. There are also people who will build around using the improved camouflage patterns for the minus 20% to ship's detectability range, which makes Kleber a lot stealthier because it's 20% on top of the 10% you pick up here, and on top of the 10% you pick up here as well. So some people like that extra 40% off of Kleber's base so that they can be super stealthy and kind of do some torp play. And that's fine, but I just don't go for that. But to each their own. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today on Kleber. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. And make sure to drop a comment to the channel as to what you thought about this video. Anyway, Captains, good luck out there.